In today's Leeds news, new FIFA loan limits for 24-25 season, Leeds summer plans, Skipp interest, Aaronson's USA cameo, Shackleton's future, and Diego Llorente exit in the coming weeks. Hi folks, Jer here, Thursday morning, the 13th of June with your Leeds United news. There's a little bit to get into, we won't faff about, we'll make this short and sweet and get out. We are recording the podcast tonight as well, which will probably be dominated by the return of Brendan Aaronson and the retained list stuff, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. That'll be done tonight and will be released then tomorrow night, so you can keep an eye out for that. But we'll start today with an article from Joe Donoghue in the YEP around new FIFA loan limits coming into the 24-25 season that may impact Leeds in some degree. Joe Donoghue shared some information this morning around a change to the rules around international loan players. Last season, Leeds loaned out 6 players internationally outside the UK, along with several players internally within the UK. Prior to the upcoming season, the upper limit of international loans was set at 7 and has been reducing by 1 each year since the rules were implemented, and will reduce to 6 next season, the number that Leeds loaned out last year. 2 years ago, FIFA introduced this rule and it was set at a limit of 8 incoming and 8 outgoing international loans, but the rules stated that number would drop by 1 each season in an attempt to stop clubs from stockpiling players. Leeds don't have that issue. Leeds have the issue of players trying to get away from the club last season on loan, but that rule will kick in this year. It's unlikely Leeds will have the same volume of international loans next season due to loan release clauses, although that is now questionable as well, with the Brendan Aaronson loan release clause being talked about as well. Whether you believe that or not remains to be seen. Moving on to Leeds United's summer plans, and new Athletic sports writer Nancy Froston, who is replacing Phil Hay at The Athletic, has been writing some pieces this morning about Leeds United's priority targets this summer and the potential direction the transfer window could go in. The transfer window, which opens in less than 24 hours, although I wouldn't expect a crazy rush like a bus to the front of the queue for this one. This could be a slightly slower intro to the window this season. The first port of call for Leeds, of course, will be incoming players, and Nancy said that Leeds are interested in bringing Joe Rodon and Connor Roberts back to the club next season. Rodon has been linked with a move to Ipswich today, as well as interest from Fenerbahce and Jose Mourinho over the last few days. She claims that a deal is in mind for Connor Roberts, who is entering into the final year of his contract with Burnley and is said right now to be assessing his options. In the elect, she also claims that Leeds' loan players from last season, Max Fober, Diego Llorente and Rasmus Christensen, will be assessed by the club on an individual basis before Leeds decide what to do with those players into next season. So it'll be interesting to see which of those players Leeds bring back. Do we see any more returns? Brendan Aaronson surprised everybody. Would we likely see a return of Max Fober and Rasmus Christensen? Llorente looks like he's gone, but the other two to keep an eye on. Moving on to potential incomings again, and Oliver Skipp has been linked with a move to Leeds today. Parag Morate has insisted that Leeds United do have funds for a transfer window this summer, and one player of interest is said to be Spurs midfielder Oliver Skipp. According to The Athletic, Skipp is a player who could come on Leeds' radar should Leeds decide to move on one of their other midfielders in the coming weeks, that player being Ilya Gruev, who has attracted interest from the Bundesliga. Skipp made 21 appearances for Spurs last season, but is seen as being very far down the pecking order at the club and could move away this summer. Farke obviously has a relationship with Oliver Skipp, being one of his standout players during one of his promotion campaigns at Norwich during the 2021 season. Skipp himself is said to be interested in a move away from Spurs, but it isn't confirmed whether Skipp would consider a drop down to the Championship next season. That would remain to be seen. You would hope that the relationship with Daniel Farke could help with that one. Good player, would be very good in the Championship, has proven it before, would be a tidy player for Leeds to bring in if they could. Moving on to last night, and Brendan Aaronson is still the talk of the town at Leeds United, so I suppose it's important that we keep an eye on what he's doing in pre-season in the Copa America before he comes back to Leeds, and he did make a cameo appearance last night in the USMNT's game against Brazil. The match itself finished in a 1-1 draw, and Aaronson came on in the 75th minute for a 15-minute cameo towards the back end of the game and had a chance to win it for USA, although not a very clear chance to win it, that should be said. There was a ball cut back to Aaronson from close range, but was smothered by Alisson in goal for Brazil as he went to shoot. CBS themselves gave him a 6 out of 10 rating, and they called it a solid performance, the kind of appearance you want to see off the bench. Busy, active, the stuff you would expect from a Brendan Aaronson appearance. And then moving on to a surprise name that popped up in the retained list last week, and that was Jamie Shackleton. He was a surprise name for a lot of people on the retained list, and Daniel Farke had said earlier on this year that he would look after Jamie Shackleton when asked about his future. During a press conference, according to The Athletic, Farke is said to be the driving force behind Shackleton getting a new contract offer. But it should be said, Jamie Shackleton has only played 676 minutes for Leeds last season in what was a very injury-hit campaign, and he has yet to put pen to paper on the offer that Leeds have put before him. According to the report, they also say that Jamie Shackleton has got other offers from elsewhere and could still move away from Leeds United into the next season. Shax himself is said to be keen on getting more minutes and playing time next season, which you would imagine would be difficult to happen at Leeds United given the lack of minutes he had last year and the improvements that Leeds will need to make in certain areas this season in order to try and gain an automatic promotion to the Premier League next season. Farke does like Jamie Shackleton. A lot of managers would like Jamie Shackleton. He's a pro, he's a good pro, he's a busy player, he's an active player, and he's a very good player to have in training and around the place and a good option off the bench. He very rarely lets Leeds down. But Leeds will probably need more quality in the positions that Jamie operates as. Right back, he's probably third choice, and as central midfielder, he's probably fourth choice. So Leeds would need more options in there. But it's interesting to see that Shackleton does have other offers elsewhere and has yet to sign anything. You would imagine the offer that Leeds have given him is on lesser terms. Same with Liam Cooper. And I would agree with some of the stuff that was said on the Square Ball podcast yesterday, where they said that this could just be a safety net offer for these players of saying, look, there's a very reduced offer from what you were on before in your Premier League wages here if you can't get anything else. And these players are obviously having a look around. There's also said to be interest in the Championship in Liam Cooper as well. So another player who could very, very easily move away from Leeds in the coming weeks. And then moving on to a story around Diego Llorente, and I know everyone's tired of talking about Diego Llorente, but the saga around the exit of Diego Llorente could be about to come to an end. According to Quotidiano Sports in Italy, they say that Diego Llorente's agent has held talks with AS Roma president and manager Daniel De Rossi. Manager's Daniel De Rossi. They're both not Daniel De Rossi. Just to be clear on that one. The 4.3 million buy option in Diego Llorente's loan contract or loan move last season has yet to be activated but could still be activated, and talks around the permanent move are still ongoing, with the president of AS Roma and Daniel De Rossi both said to be keen on locking Llorente down to a permanent deal. Llorente's played over 50 games for Roma in the last 2 seasons and was a mainstay in the Jose Mourinho team at the start of last season, but featured less towards the back end of the campaign. There was rumours that could be due to a game obligation that could kick in, but that hasn't been confirmed. The report also states that Llorente is very keen to get this move sorted himself, and we've heard that over the last couple of weeks as well. And they go on to say that you could see white smoke from Rome in the coming weeks, and an exit and a finalisation of that deal for Diego Llorente is expected to happen in the coming weeks. There's a lot of stuff there today. In terms of incomes, we'll start to see things moving a little bit more concrete from tomorrow on. Although, as I said, I wouldn't expect a massive rush to the front of the queue for the transfer window when it does open tomorrow morning. But we will hope, you will likely see some moves for some free agents happening pretty quickly. It's a very good free market this year. If you were to dip in and try and get a couple of players, there's a lot of quality floating around the free market this year. And it will be interesting to see if Leeds do look at that. Ryan Sessegnon being a player as a left back of interest as well in the future of Junior Firpo, not yet solidified at Leeds. So still work to do, but we'll see what happens. That's going to be it for me today, folks. Back tomorrow morning with the news. Podcast tomorrow night. Have a cracking rest of your day, and I will talk to you then. See ya.